All right. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, May 28th. We're taking a look at NASDAQ here. We have a very slight gap higher. NQ finally up into this near term area of resistance. Remember from yesterday, what we were talking about was the trap that was set right here on Friday, the continuation of the action back within the near term range on Sunday. So think of this as like a higher time frame spring. It's your higher time frame spring right there. And now we're into the structure target, which is near term range high at 21,500. So that entire move has been completed. Now, yesterday's session, even though the idea panned out quite nicely, yesterday's session was a bit tricky simply because we did not really see much for intraday entries, and that's how it goes sometimes. You can have the move perfectly nailed essentially as far as the analysis is concerned, but the execution is something entirely different. For this morning, what we want to see is how price is going to be responding to this resistance zone. Are sellers going to step in again and defend this area? Is that what we're going to see? Are we going to see a rejection of the 21,500, or are buyers going to be able to trigger the breakout of this near term range? Pretty straightforward. Price is right into the edge point of that near term range. So it makes the main watch for this morning quite simple for us. Pretty simple. Now, if we do end up seeing that rejection here at 500, as always, anytime you have kind of the edge point of a range being respected, you want to be careful with those first couple of levels of interest, right? So, hypothetically speaking, if we did see a rejection here at 500 and we're trading against 21,400 and you're looking for a long setup, that idea can certainly work, but caution is warranted. Those aren't going to be my favorite setups because the idea is that the near term range high is rejecting. And so, where is price most likely going to go? Well, it's probably going to trade into the lower portion of the near term range. That's kind of how I view it. Now, at some point, whenever this range actually does break out, there's probably going to be some move against the midpoint of the range, or some little retest of the 400. I don't really optimize my system for those scenarios. So I'd rather just wait for price to actually trigger the breakout and then take some sort of entry that actually aligns with the breakout. Now, if you watch the stream every day, you'll notice I was talking about this exact same concept on this particular day here, Tuesday, May 20th. We had a very, very similar situation. Price was rejecting the near term range high. And I was really cautious with those longs versus 400 there for this exact same reason. Now, it took a couple of days, but what do we see? What do we see with the structure? Well, ultimately, it did trade into the lows. So it's an important concept when it comes to near-term range, kind of understanding the main move. As of right now, this 2-hour bar currently shaped like a shooting star. It still has half an hour, so it's too soon to be leaning too heavily on that particular candlestick. Let's see what we have on the hourly here. Hourly is showing a bit of exhaustion as well. In the overnight session, we had a little bit of a pullback into the 21,400 before the bounce. And then yesterday is a trend day, but just a lot of drift, right? Just drifting higher. Not a lot of opportunities through there. Personally, a session like that, I'd just prefer to stay cash. No trades in NQ for me yesterday. The only trades taken were both in ES, which we did here on the stream, both taken on the stream. So heading into the open here in 90 seconds, 30-minute, a little bit of exhaustion there. The main focus here is right off the open, how price responds to 21,500. The other thing to consider this morning, we do have a 10 a.m. data print as well as FOMC meeting minutes. So, not an actual FOMC rate decision, but just the minutes from the most recent meeting, which was May 7th, I believe. So here we go, a little less than 60 seconds till the open. Let's take a look at our intraday. You do have the prior day high right here at 488. Overnight volume pretty light with the exception of this action right through here around 6:30 a.m. And here comes the open. All right, there's the open. Let's see how we're looking here. Where's the overnight high? 537 is your overnight high. Coming back into 21,500. So all this red area here on the chart, remember that is resistance. Just a reminder on the near term structure, what we're dealing with. I like those visuals like that. Helps me remember the zone that we're involved with. Makes it obvious, right? And NQ session low right there, new low of day. Coming into prior day high 488. You got ES actually beneath the prior day high, bumping into it from below. Pretty good volume off the open here. It's good to see. A little consolidation in this zone in the 500 area. NQ, new high of day. Volume fell off pretty hard. Hate to see that. It's going to be the theme all summer with the low volume. NQ overnight high 537.5 is your upside reference point. Looks like ES bumping into the overnight high, up and through that prior day high now. Also got YM into the overnight high. Russell just looking pretty choppy. NQ pretty much still here in this pre-open structure. Very curious to see how that overnight high is going to be treated. Getting pretty close now. It's our session high, 530. Just shy of overnight high. Talking about 4 points. ES already testing that overnight high. Got a true test right there on ES. There's your overnight high on NASDAQ. So last week's high, next upside reference point there, 558. Up above 560, we start to see price leave the resistance zone and potentially trigger the breakout. Here's 560, just shy of it. Yeah, you'll typically see that uptick in volume with a break of the overnight high or overnight low, especially with some higher time frame structural significance. Very nice push. Let's see how the structure develops now. Yeah, we'll just trail it. We will just trail it. Don't love to see a rejection here, but I'm going to give this one a lot of room, a lot of breathing room for my runners. Yeah, so the idea on the trade was just you have the initial pop right off the open, and then price gives you the retest into the 21,500 level of interest. This is still going to be an aggressive play just based on higher time frame structure, location, but given the bullish neutral backdrop and the fact that price was holding right there and at the prior day high looked decent for an attempt, and the structure gave us a nice tight stop. So we give it a try. Now we'll see if we get a higher low to kind of raise the trail. Already exited more than 75% of the trade, so can't take the overnight high retest. Yeah, this is a tough spot for new positions. If I were looking for a new position here, I'd like to see action above 560 personally. That's just my preference based on this higher time frame resistance zone here. So again, we talked about it, but just to reiterate, I want to see price kind of clearing this area. Yep, spot on, Ray. Same page. Take a look at the fib. So still have my runners, trails down near 520. Trying to give this one enough breathing room. But we may see the rejection here. Thankfully, scaled out along the way. That's the beauty. It's the beauty of scaling. But I do think the risk is worth it here to potentially catch the, if price is going to trigger that breakout, potentially catch the breakout. So just keeping a wide trail. It's in profit. And we secured about 60 points. So it's kind of the idea. Yeah, and there's the rejection. So we may get the trail right here, 522. There's the trail. All out. All out of that one. Not bad. 60 points. Now we're seeing it. Look at the volume come in now. Well, this is where I'd be cautious with fresh longs. Micro time frame showed a little lower high right through here at last week's high. Be a good short entry. You have ES with a rejection at 59.50. Probably a better play over there if you wanted the short. Now let's see. Let's see how this structure develops. We got about 13 minutes or so till 10 a.m. NQ right back in at 21,500. You got VWAP right there. Personally, not looking for any longs right now. Has the look of a higher time frame rejection in a key area of resistance. Is that a new low of day? Yeah, new low of day on NASDAQ. Fresh lows. Look at the volume increasing as well on this rejection. Friday volume point of control coming up 21,450. That was a good call on avoiding the overnight high long there, Ray. Look at that. Higher time frame analysis saving the day. Not all intraday setups are created equally. Higher time frame structure helps paint the picture. Got about 8 minutes till 10 a.m. here. Likely just going to be cash following that opening drive trade till post 10 a.m. I want to see the data. Not the data itself, but price's reaction to the data. And we'll take it from there. Right now, we have that higher time frame rejection of a key area of resistance. Wow, yeah, that's huge progress right there. Just saw your note in the chat there, Ray. Love it. Love it. So NQ retest at 21,500, sellers reload. We'll see how this structure builds right here. Volume's really good, well above average. Two pretty solid directional moves so far this morning. The long and the short. And 3 minutes till data. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. No new trades following that trail. And coming into a new low of day here, NASDAQ. There's your new low of day. Man, the power of horizontal lines. Amazing. It's amazing. Got that little lower high there, Benny. Nice. Careful into the data print. We have about 90 seconds. Filled the gap. Oh, the little baby gap. Alrighty. Noted. Data in 30 seconds. Closure of the first 30-minute bar. Let's get an update on our 2 hour. Yeah, so this closes in 10 seconds. There's 10 a.m. So this is kind of the main area right through here that I'm keeping an eye on. If buyers can reclaim that zone with acceptance, that would be pretty significant. If not, then personally, I remain hands off. At least until this area trades. We can watch the reaction down there. NQ low is marked near a prior day volume point of control so far. Where's our current profile? Where are we at? There it is. So current session volume point of control up at 507. A little bit of barcode. Staying patient. Staying patient. See if buyers have the juice here. You would expect a rejection like this to be able to show a little more follow through. No, just get absorbed at the prior day volume point of control. So let's see. So another look at the main structure at play here. So far, NQ unable to reclaim VWAP. It's a little consolidation here. Personally, nothing to do in this area. Volume kind of tapering down. Yeah, a little consolidation here. A little consolidation nation. Is that it? Is that all the action we're getting today? Uh. So right now we're just looking to see which way this little consolidation is going to resolve. Like I said, I'm only interested in some action above 21,500, which would be pretty significant if buyers can reclaim, or a watch overnight low 21,400 area. But like I said before the open, it's not going to be my favorite spot based on higher time frame structure. Right now we have a rejection of near term range high. Where do we expect price to go? Probably into the lower portion of the range, just based on normal structure dynamics. TBD. TBD. Session volume point of control just shifted lower, 471. So you have a lot of volume being done in this area. Prior day volume point of control holding nicely so far. Price is just kind of caught here. The 5 minute. Yeah, surprising the lack of follow through. It reminds me of the action that we had from Tuesday, May 20th. Very similar sort of action that we had on that day. It was just a lot of consolidation near the 400. 15 minutes, just an inside bar on the most recent candle closure. 5 minutes, starting to show more of that barcode. That's been pretty clear on the 1 minute. Patience, absolutely key right now. You got ES sitting on session lows coming into 5925. YM pounding the lows, and Russell just sitting on overnight low. Pretty much everything is just sitting on the lows. Let's see if NQ cracks the low right here. So far, it's just been a one and done morning on my end. Snoozer. Snoozer. Look at ES versus that level of interest. No position. Don't sleep on the S&P. That's a level to level move. Level to level. Action says go for a walk. Yeah, I would agree with that. We'll see. Well, I'll give it a little more time here. Give it at least 10 more minutes. I'm just happy we got that action in the first 15 minutes. That was solid. Sacrifice the stream? Oh, man. Stream sacrifice? Is that what it's going to take? All right, NQ back into session low. See if it finally cracks the low. There's your new low of day, NASDAQ. Finally. So NQ getting into no man's land. Looking at 400 if price can get there. Yeah, right back into the structure. Right back into session volume point of control 464. That's that. NQ is just a series of lower highs here. Post, what is this? 945, 940. Good volume on that absorption there. Shout out to Ray. Putting money in my pocket with that ES trade idea. Little new low of day spring in ES. Yeah, I still got my runners on. I took some off. Took some off as it bumps into prior day volume point of control there. Yeah, may get trailed on it. We'll take the +4 if I get trailed. No big deal. Can raise it now. Raise it up to 28. See if we get a little more lift here. Meanwhile, NQ and back into the structure, session volume, point of control. So the idea, like Ray mentioned in the chat there, you have a new low of day, makes the spring setup quickly absorbed at a level of interest. Oh, why is my other screen show priority volume point of control at 9:30? What is going on there? Huh. Anyway, just trailed. Just trailed it. I'll take my points. Take my points and run. Take the yoints. That was decent. Plus 60 NQ, plus 4 ES, 2 for 2. Both trades at levels of interest. See what else we get here. See what else. See what else. Still looking for a 400, Dom? Yeah, structure is definitely in your favor. 4.5 points on that. Yeah, it sounds like nothing because we're used to talking about NQ points, but 4.5 in ES. That's delightful. That is delightful. All right, 1 hour into the sesh. How's everyone's morning? How we doing out there? Green, 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 2, 1 for 2. Good. Solid. Solid work. Personal best for longest trade sat in. Nice, Dom. It's a win. That is a win. Yeah, not much else to do here. NQ, like I said a few times now, I'm looking at either the action down, well, one of the blue squares essentially. Need to see some action in there. Otherwise, staying cash as far as NQ is concerned. ES, let's take a look. We had the 52.25. Don't really want to hit it again here. Especially look at this action. It's like just drift lower. We do have FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. Oh yeah, that's a good call. Forgot about that. Nvidia after the close, CRM as well. So that'll definitely be moving Nasdaq, assuming there's a move there. Let's take a look at the old Nvidia. Just sitting on that overnight low. Nvidia new low of day. ES new low of day. NQ is still just here. Volume's actually remaining decent. I mean, it's average, but at least it's average. It's pretty slow though. Pretty slow. See, it looks like YM getting pretty choppy as well. Russell, just some churn down near that overnight low. Look at that 5 minute. Just a lot of barbed wire, barcode barbed wire. All right, NQ getting back into the lows. Let's see if the lows actually crack. Got ES making the new low, YM making the new low. NQ making the new low with an uptick in volume as well. ES is getting into the overnight low as a reference point. Got an uptick in volume on ES as well. Not much to do here. Staying patient, unless you're riding the short like Dom. Pretty much nothing to do here. A little bit of a bounce. Do we get an intraday change in character here? Intraday change of character? How's the bot doing? The bot took one short and has already exited. So bot's chilling. Yesterday I had one long for 120 points. Day before that, Monday, the holiday trading had one long for 50 points. So bot is 3 for 3 on the week. NASDAQ bumping into session volume point of control here, 469. Look at this 5-minute. Wow. See if we get that 11 a.m. setup. So far, personally, still just with the 2 trades on the morning. NQ long, pretty much off the open. And then the ES spring attempt at 59.25. Nothing else to do. Nothing else to do. NQ into session low. No new low of day made there. See how this 30-minute bar shapes up. Let's see. We got 12 more minutes on that one. Yeah, structure, volume, point of control way up here. 446. Got about 10 minutes till 11 a.m. Post 10 a.m. This has just been pure choppy drift. Drift. Let's take a look at the intraday fib. So the 50% is right up there, pretty much right at 21,500. NQ right back into session low. ES making a new low of day, now through overnight low. No new low of day made just yet for NASDAQ. I would not expect sellers to have such a tough time given the current structure. I would expect more of a clean rejection like that. But past few days is quite bullish here, so may have something to do with that. Expected breakout today. Yeah, I was looking for that as well. Yeah, let's see this 11 a.m.er. Then after that, I'll just be keeping an eye on FOMC minutes. Probably won't be much activity with that, but sometimes you'll get a little uptick in volume, a little bit of activity. Structure's getting a little bit tighter here. We want to see how the 15-minute and this 30-minute bar closes here in about 6 minutes. Nasdaq right back into the lows. Still a series of lower highs here. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Feeling that theta decay on his futures? Probably not. All right, want to see if we get any sort of 11 a.m. move here. And if not, that will be a wrap on the morning. 2 for 2. Both longs, ES and NQ. NQ sitting on the lows right now. See what ES is doing. ES, same type of intraday structure here, just drift lower into the overnight low. NQ, for the most part, still in no man's land here. Nearest reference point is that prior day volume point of control. There's your crack lower, new low of day for NASDAQ. And here comes 11 a.m. See if we even get a little bit of a move here. No news or anything. There's 11, pretty much nothing. Not even an uptick in volume. All right. I think that's it. Yep. So I'll set some alerts for 21,400 area, as well as the 500 if price gets back up into there. But otherwise, that's it for this morning. Keep an eye on the action near FOMC minutes as well. Just see if we get some activity through there. There's your little uptick in volume. But this is just drift. I have pretty much no edge in this sort of action. So if there's no edge, there's no trading to be done. Crazy concept. But that's how it is. So I hope you guys had a good morning. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank as always. Keep the updates flowing there. Yeah, a little bit of a bounce now back in a prior day volume point of control, but it's just drifty. Anyway, have a great rest of your day, folks. And we will see you tomorrow morning. Take care.